what I'm going to try to do in a brief period is give you some practical advice. Time management, anything you read, you can buy books on any one of the corner shelves. And they all talk about keeping checklists. You know, when you go to bed at night, take out a poster, a yellow Post-it pad, and write down what you have to do the next day, and put priorities on it. And all these things are tools that can be effective. It has to do with techniques, and there's books and books and books and books. But the reality is that there are some very, very fundamental issues that are conceptual that don't get discussed in the books and literature. One of them that happens in business and in our personal lives is called reverse delegation. What is reverse delegation? Whether I'm at my desk and an employee walks in, or whether I'm at home and my son comes in and says, I have a problem, okay? I can't do this, or what do I do about this and this and this? I have several choices, but the two obvious choices are either I can stop what I'm doing and help him or her, whoever, resolve the problem, or I can, and this is what happens way, way too often, I can say, because I know I can resolve this myself, and I'm going to take more time to even discuss it, and I'm still not going to get it right, to say, okay, leave it, I'll take care of it, and I'll get back to you. All right? That's called reverse delegation. I have just allowed this person with their issue to literally preempt, not necessarily drop everything right this minute, but to preempt my time allocation by me accepting that issue and taking it over. There's this, there's the business adage, what is it, you buy a man a fish, buy a hungry man a fish, and he has a meal. Teach him how to fish, you know, and he can provide for time. It's the same concept. Anyway, that's a fundamental concept about time management. Because time management is about allocating your time based on your priorities, not other people's priorities. And oftentimes other people's priorities are preemptive, but some of the things are so simple, and if you think about it, we do it every day to some degree or another. So that's one. I'll give you three quick things. The second one is a recognition that there's a difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency is about doing something right, doing it accurately, doing it so that it's the right answer. Effectiveness is about doing the right thing. Okay? In my world, the accounting world, I could do an 18-column spreadsheet that balances back and forth and down and whatever and shows every number and crosses. Okay? The question is that what was needed? Or all that was needed was something over something much lesser. So effectiveness, so it's about, in time management, it's about thinking before you embark on a project. All right, here's what I'm going to go about. I'm going to do A and B and C and D because I want to get it right. I want to get this, I want to do that. Is about an awareness of whether the steps that you're employing are the steps that are necessary to meet an effective conclusion. That's how time gets lost, in going all the way around. There are people that, now you can do it for fun if you have the time. There are people that I know who cook very well, and they will use 10 seasonings, okay, to come up with something that's wonderful. When the reality is, if they're managing their time and their time's at a premium, they could use 1 or 2 or a dash or whatever the appropriate thing is to do. So that's the concept of efficiency and effectiveness. Again, I'm going to give you some printouts on this. And the third simple thing is called the 80-20 rule. You've all heard this in some fashion. The statistics that are done at universities, in all sorts of statistical analysis show, business studies show over decades, that they support a strange conclusion. The conclusion is that 80% of whatever results from 20% of whatever, and vice versa. Now, what does that mean? 80% of revenues in your business typically come from 20% of your customer base or your saleable work product. 80% of office aggravation comes from 20% of the employees. Conversely, 20% of your thinking time results in 80% of your good ideas. 80% results in 20% of it all. The 80-20 rule, again, literally, has been statistically done, measurement after measurement. And so there's a UN report current in the last couple of years that showed that 80% of the world's goods and services, 80% of the world's goods and services are consumed by 20% of the people. Now, we happen to be in the bubble of people who represent a good deal of it. But conversely, only 20% that's left gets distributed to poverty areas and so forth. So being aware of that, the important concept is that perhaps 80% of what we choose to deal with, 80% of the source that we accept in our lives on a daily basis, and of course that we allocate time to, may only have a 20% benefit in the context of the, in the scheme of things. And so, from a conceptual standpoint, it's what's the payoff for my next step? I mean, if you think about it ahead of time. Now, what I do for a living, I'm a CPA by training. I've been involved in finance and accounting and auditing and taxes and forensic and all the stuff that CPAs do. I started a CPA firm with one person, and I ended up being fortunate. A public company came along and bought it a dozen years ago. We built up, we had about 75 accountants, so it was a big firm and it got sold. But what I have done for the last 20-some years is the strategic planning and guidance side. I basically help people, whether they have businesses, whether they're starting businesses, whether they're trying to evolve businesses. I help people get from here to there. Now that's about where are you? Reality check. Where do you want to get to? Is it realistic? What timetable? What is it going to take to do that? Resources, people, bodies, infrastructure, systems, procedures, so forth. And execute a plan. A business plan, you've all heard the phrase, can be 1 page or it can be 100 pages. But all it really embodies is, okay, here's where you are, here's where you're trying to get to, here's a reality or a realistic approach that has a shot at happening if you implement the following steps with regard to your processes. Okay? In that arena, the 3 things that I just talked about are critical to ever get those things going. Because if you don't stop and think, what's the 80-20? Okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to spend 80% of our time proving that X, Y, and Z, when it doesn't really matter? We know that Z works, and we don't have to have a clinical result and so forth. It has to do with the allocation of time. Now, what I want to spend some energy on, and I'm going to hand you out the first page here so that you can follow me along, because it's not rocket science, but I suggest to you that this is profound if you can follow me. A professor at, I forgot where, the guy's name was Johari, an Indian guy, and so this is called the Johari window. And I was going to bring in an easel and so forth, but I decided it'd be easier just to give you a piece of paper you can make notes. If you just follow me through with this. Okay, just pass these down.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Let me walk you through this as soon as he shall. This is, I think, probably, if I had to, again, the last course I taught in this was at Pepperdine, the graduate school at Pepperdine, and there was a general consensus that, can you get one? Sorry. That this was probably the most useful picture of what the problem is in time management. Is concerned. I've got more. Everybody got one? Okay. So let me just walk you through this while you're looking. This is called a window model that's used for everything from science to math to whatever. So this model, this matrix, has 2 axes going sideways horizontally. It says to me and to others. The first part of this has to do with communication. Okay? So if you look at this, when there's something is either known or unknown. Okay? It's either true or not true. It's known, it's unknown. So this isn't about good or bad. This is just about the facts of the situation that I'm dealing with when I'm communicating. All right? So if you look at box 1, that's about some, let's call it information, that's known to me and known to you, to others. This is the communication we're having. Box number 2, it's something that I know, but you don't. Box number 3 is neither one of us knows. And box number 4 is you know it, but I don't. All right, can you follow this? I made this as simply as possible. All right. Area 4, which is the upper right-hand corner, is where most problems occur in communication. I'm just reading this. Where one person is unaware of data known to the other party. In this case, the way I've done this matrix, it's known to the other people, but unknown to me. The point is, one knows that the other doesn't, and so there is the highest opportunity for miscommunication, misunderstanding, and so forth.
Would it, excuse me, without, I don't want to bring
Go
you
ahead,
on track.
go ahead.
Would 4 equate to 2 in terms of the same problem?
No. If it's unknown to both of us, if neither one of us knows the reality, the fact.
Number 2 is one person.
Number 2 is unknown. The box. Wait, are you on the bottom? No, you're on the top.
Yeah, I'm on the top. And box number 2 is known to one and unknown.
No, it isn't.
No, it's known to me and unknown to you.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So
no?
Box number 2 is known to one person, in this case you, but unknown to the other person.
Yes.
Right. So
Box number 4 is unknown to me.
right, but
I'm sorry. Did I say it back? I'm sorry.
Yes.
so
I'm sorry.
I would say 4 and 2 would equate.
I'm sorry. I did this. I typoed this wrong. I'm sorry. It's area 3 where it says area 4. I'm sorry. It's area 3. I numbered these here. Area 3 is where. No. That's right. No, that's right. Okay. Stop.
My question.
Yes.
My question's right.
Your question is right, except that we're dealing with this from the standpoint of me being the one who's trying to be in the right position.
Right.
You're correct. Okay.
It'd be the same.
It's the same problem, except now the problem is a
But
problem.
it's the same level.
Same level, correct.
area 4 is what?
Let me go to the next part.
I'm sorry to take you off.
Same level. It's not, you are correct, but it's irrelevant to what the point I'm trying to make. You're right. And I was talking to Chris.
I'm sorry that I.
Okay, now, here's where I'm trying to get to. The point is, this model that was developed in the context of communication. Now, I want to bring it to the context of time management. Now, this is what's important, okay? As applied to daily activity. So the axes have been changed to important and urgent. All right? Even if you don't understand the first one, don't worry about it. If you care about a more theoretical thing, that's where it comes from. Now this is the point, the important part. If what I'm dealing with on any given moment for any given decision is whether something is urgent or is important, if it's only those two options, and typically think about any decision you're making at any moment, it's either an urgent decision or it's an important decision, or conversely, it's not urgent nor not important. Those are the axes. Am I going, whatever I'm going to do. All right, so follow this through. So it's either urgent or important, one or the other. Now, in performing daily tasks, area 4, which is where it is not, look at area 4, okay? On the important axis, it's not important. But on the urgency axis, it's, yes, urgent. It's the squeaky wheel, okay? It's urgent. The phone rang, da-da-da-da-da, preempted everything else, got to deal with it right now, so I do. Even if it's not important in my scheme of what is the scheme of things that I have to deal with, the time that I have to allocate. In performing daily tasks, area 4 is where we waste the most effort. Dealing with and generally preempted by urgencies. But urgencies that involve unimportant matters.